Hi everyone. We're going to write the slope-intercept in the standard form of an equation of a line that passes through a pair of points. We did this before, but we used the point slope form. And this time we're going to use the slope-intercept form. I'm not going to graph this. We'll graph some equations in the next video. The first thing we're going to do when we have we're going to go from the slope-intercept form, then we're going to go to the standard form. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the slope. And remember, the slope is the change of y, the change of x, equals y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. I like to label my points. This is point 1. So this is going to be x sub 1, y sub 1. And this one's going to be point 2. So this is going to be x sub 2, y sub 2. So I'm going to find the slope. Y sub 2 is negative 4 minus a negative 1 is y sub 1. And then I have 6 minus a negative 3. So this is going to give me negative 4. This is a plus. So negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3 over, this is a plus 9. So my slope is negative 1/3. Now, I'm going to go to the next slide and finish this. I'm going to go ahead and use point 1 as well, negative 3, negative 1. So I have y equals negative 1/3 x plus b. I'm using y equals mx plus b. Now what I'm going to do is use the point. I can use either point. Both will work. But since my point 1 is smaller, I'm going to use negative 3, negative 1. So negative 3, comma, negative 1. And to find b, I'm going to plug in my x and my y and solve for b. My y is negative 1. My b is negative 3. My x is negative 3. I'm going to solve for b. Once I find b, I'm going to plug it back in. So I have negative 1 equals 1 plus b. What I'm going to do here is subtract 1 from both sides. So I get negative, this cancels, I get negative 2 equals b. Once I have that, I plug it back in my original equation. Y equals negative 1/3 x minus, or plus a negative, I'm just going to put minus 2. Now we have to put this in standard form, and we already did a video on this prior, so I'm going to go a little faster on this. I'm going to add 1/3 x to both sides and put it in front because the x goes first. My y is positive, so I'll copy him down. Then my equals negative 2. Since I can't have a fraction for my a part, I'm going to multiply everything through by 3 and distribute the 3 by multiplying each term. 3 times 1/3 is just 1, so you get 1 times x is x. 3 times y is 3y. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So there's my standard form. There's my slope-intercept form. Okay, let's try another one that might be a little more complicated. So I have a point negative 6, comma 1. That's point 1. And then I have a point 4, comma negative 2. So this is x sub 1, comma y sub 1. X sub 2, comma y sub 2. This is your point 2, point 1. I'm going to use my slope formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 for x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Again, that's your change in y over your change of x. Or rise over run. So I'm going to do that over here. I get negative 2 minus 1 over 4 minus a negative 6. This gives me negative 3 over 10. That's my slope. So I'm going to write it in this form, y equals mx plus b first. So I have y equals negative 3/10 x plus b. Now, I have to fill in my x and y, and this is what's going to be complicated because you have fractions here. So I wanted to do one hard one here because you might get that in class. You can either use 0.1 or 0.2. I'm going to go ahead and use 0.2 just because my x is a little smaller. Doesn't really matter though. So I'm going to have negative 2 equals negative 3/10 times x. X is 4 plus b, and I'm solving for b. So I have negative 2 equals negative 12/10 plus b. And that's going to be negative 2 equals negative 6/5 plus b. Now, if you want, and you don't want to add fractions, what we could do right away is go ahead and multiply everything through by 5. That's going to clear the fractions. And you multiply each term by 5, and you're going to get negative 10 equals negative 6 plus 5b. Add the 6 to both sides. So you're going to get negative 4, it's going up here, equals 5b, then divide by 5. So your b is negative 4/5, and your equation, therefore, and I'm sorry this is getting messy, I'm basically going to take this and erase my b and put in negative, so it's minus a 4/5. So I'm going to go on the next page and write this down, if I can remember it. 3/10 and negative, so y equals negative 3/10 x minus 4/5. I have to put this in standard form. The first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and clear the fractions here by multiplying everything through by 10, because that's my largest denominator here. That's going to clear everything out. So I'm going to get 10y equals negative 3x minus 8. And again, let me just shorten this up. You're multiplying each term by 10. And when you do that, this just becomes 10y. The 10s cancel here, so you get negative 3x. 5 goes into 10 2 times, so 2 times 4 is negative 8. Now I'm going to move my 3x over. And since it's negative here, it's going to be positive when I move him over. He goes first, then my y, and my constant stays on the right. And so we're done there. Okay, and I hope everyone has a nice day.